have come here to the Victoria Falls for the next 3 days to deliberate over the issues that are important to this country. And this session is one of the sessions. Session to be coming to Zimbabwe for, other than one like this, where you are going to be meeting fellow business people that are operating in the country. They will be able to tell you about the opportunities that we are currently have, the challenges, why we are still here, and whether we're making money or not. And certainly over the next 3 days, these are apart from what the deliberations that we'll have today, these are the issues that we hope that you will deliberate on. And we believe that the country is a good story, is a good story, and we believe that there are certainly good opportunities for business people to make money. The country has been importing at its peak. We're importing $7 billion worth of goods. So certainly there are opportunities there. And this is at a time when we are saying the economy is not performing. This is at a time when we are saying there are still opportunities to grow a lot of the industries, particularly the extractive industries and other supportive industries. So we believe that the opportunities are there for us, for you to unearth. So please, let's share information, as I indicated in this particular session. Let's share information, or even outside the formal meetings. I think that is where you even get more information when everyone is relaxed. But most of all, I hope that the investment that you have made in coming to Zimbabwe will be repaid several-fold by the business opportunities that you'll find in this country. Right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Since you are running the Republic of Victoria Falls, will be present with a capital P here, but when you get away from here, you'll be present with a small p. Thank you very much for your remarks. And at this juncture, I want to call upon the head of the Indian delegation, Mr. Pendaka, to give us a few remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Let me recognize His Excellency Mr. Masakwi, the Indian Ambassador to Zimbabwe, Mr. Jabangwe, the President of CZI, Mr. Silea, CEO CZI, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to be here. On a personal front, this is my first visit to Zimbabwe. I am very glad that I am starting it off at the beautiful city of Victoria Falls. India and Zimbabwe, I think, are interlinked with ties that go back at least a couple of centuries, if not more. And there has been an intermingling of minds and hearts which bonds our countries in a rather unique way. In terms of the sphere of business, several Indian public and private sector companies have established their presence in Zimbabwe. Some of the major ones are IRCON, which is the Indian Railway Construction Company, RITES, which is an inspection company, WAPCOS, Telecommunications India, Tata International, Kirloskar Brothers, we have one of their representatives in our team here, Jain Irrigation, Apollo Tires, and several others. This delegation, we have come here as part of the mission led by CII. CII has been actively involved with developing business with Zimbabwe. Several events and initiatives have taken place in the past, starting with the third CII Exim Bank conclave in October 2006, then the 8th Africa conclave, which was held in March 2012, where we had the participation of the then Vice President, Mrs. Mujuru. Later on, the 12th CII Exim Bank Conclave also saw the participation of the Deputy Minister of Industry and Commerce. And several representatives from Zimbabwe have also been participating in the Industrial Services Training Program for senior representatives, which was held in New Delhi. In terms of activities in Zimbabwe, because what I talked about earlier is what was done in India, let's say. CII has led several delegations. In 2009, there was a 13-member delegation, followed by a 20-member delegation in 2011, a couple of delegations 2012, and another one, 15-member delegation in 2013. I think all these initiatives stand testimony to the potential that India sees for cooperating and improving relations in the sphere of business with Zimbabwe. The CII delegation, which is here today, is looking forward to having good meetings with the local business and government dignitaries in order to gain an insight into the latest investment initiatives which are being provided by the government, particularly to Indian investors. We hope to have a deeper understanding of Zimbabwe's development priorities so that the discussions can be more focused and are relevant to businessmen in Zimbabwe as well as to us. Finally, I'm extremely glad to be here and to have this opportunity to interact. And I would like to thank CZI for organizing this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pedaka. At this stage, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to call upon His Excellency, the Ambassador, to give us a few remarks.
Program Director, Mr. Silaya, you call me Masaku. When I'm in other part of the world, they call me Masaki, that is a Japanese name. But my Indian name is Masakwi. Yeah, thank you for giving us this opportunity, and I would like to appreciate and thank CZI for giving this platform to the Indian delegation. President of CZI, Mr. Zimbabwe, continue this relationship with our friendly country, Zimbabwe. Last few years, there has been intense visits from both sides. Several ministers from Zimbabwe have visited India, participated in various conferences and business events. The same way the reciprocal and return visits from India also have happened. The last time when the Minister of Commerce and Industry had come in was in 2014, and since then I think this has just come down. There have been some challenges in the last few years regarding the perception of the Indian business in Zimbabwe, or it's not only Indian business but across the board. Some of them are generated internally by the media. Some of them are also generated externally, the international community or international media, which perception is, you would have known that when you come in, it is different from actually what you heard when you were in India. We have had business events in February, March, in June, and delegates coming from India have always said this, that what they heard before they came into Zimbabwe and what they see in Zimbabwe are two different things. As these elements would like to paint Zimbabwe as a case of hopeless end, people see when they come in here with the efforts made by the government of Zimbabwe that there is an endless hope in several sectors. I think Zimbabwe is fortunately and naturally blessed with mineral resources, a lot of resources, agricultural resources. You name any mineral, it is there in Zimbabwe. agricultural land is vast, is sparsely populated, there's a huge potential. Zimbabwe can easily regain its claim of being the food basket of this Southern Africa region. Because of this, I have been telling my delegation, and now that Turkish delegation also is here, that when you come into Zimbabwe, because of this perception, and of course there are genuinely some challenges in terms of liquidity crunch, which I tell my delegates or delegation members who have come in here, that if you come in here, you think of a long-term business, stay on here, which one of the latest investor from India, that is the Jaipura Group, the Pepsi have invested 30 million. The production will start from September or October. They are in the mood of expanding the same facility to another 40 million by next year, and by 2019, they say they will expand it to 50 million. And if you recollect the press statement that Mr. Jaipura has made in October 2016, he said he is bullish about this market. I think that is something that I would like to convey to my Indian delegates, also to Turkish delegates, that there is a huge scope for expanding trade and investment relationship with this beautiful country. In the last 1 year, for Indian delegates, this is particularly that I have identified some areas of cooperation which has a huge potential. Number one is the SME sector, because Zimbabwean economy is largely contributed by SME sector, maybe 80 to 90%. Like in India, that's why India also is an economy where SME has contributed hugely in the development and the growth of our economy, contributing 37% to our GDP, 40% to our export, and 45% to our manufacturing. Second area, I think, is education, a huge potential again. I will not go into the details. Health sector again. The entire Africa region has been making India as a tourist medical destination where patients come to get the treatment there. What we have done is we're planning to bring in Indian corporates to set up the facility here in Zimbabwe itself to mitigate the and help assist in the health sector, and not only assisting the patients here, but also assisting the region. If Zimbabwe is made to become a hub of these health facilities, I think there can be a reverse medical tourism. Instead of the patients from Zimbabwe going out to other countries, example like in India, but you will see patients from surrounding this country, from Mozambique, Botswana, and Zambia coming into Zimbabwe. This is what we're trying. Again, another sector is agriculture sector, where there can be a confluence of interest between this country, where you can diversify your cropping pattern to include pulses and oilseeds, which India has enormous appetite. How much you produce in Zimbabwe, we have the capacity to absorb, we have the market to absorb these products in India. ICT is another area, and of course, infrastructure is another area. I have mentioned about the challenges to tell my delegates that recently, government of Zimbabwe has made a few legislations towards ease of doing business in Zimbabwe. I hope tomorrow when we have an exclusive session by the investment authorities, they will let you know the details about it. There is also a common agriculture program, which is towards food security in Zimbabwe, and they are expecting more than 2 million tons of maize produced this year, which is more than the requirement of the domestic consumption here. They have also announced, government of Zimbabwe has also announced the special exclusive economic zones in 3 areas. This is another opportunity for our investors to come in and do business in Zimbabwe. I hope this interaction with the captains of industries of Zimbabwean businesses will be a very fruitful one. I would wish that the contacts are translated into contracts and interactions into transactions, Wish you all the best and thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Every time we meet here, I've always been amazed how much you know about my country, and I'm very pleased about that. Thank you so much. At this stage, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to, sorry, there's one omission. I forgot to let you know that we have a visiting speaker from Ethiopia, Mr. Abdisa Dugna. Are you here, sir? Let's welcome him from Ethiopia. Thank you. At this stage, we've been talking with India for a long, long time. We believe that sometimes things become permanent if you put them on paper. Paper has a better memory than a human being. So at this stage, I want to invite the head of the Indian delegation and the president of CZI to descend down there and sign a memorandum of understanding. If Mr. Ramji and Matare could assist. Mr. Jawangwe and Mr. Pendak. Down there. Meetings, business to business meetings between Zimbabwe industries and the Indian industries. Remember, we sent out their profile and people indicated what areas they would like to interact with. After they've said a few things, then we'll break out to our B&B sessions. Our B&B sessions will be followed by lunch. The lunch is in the dining room. We'll be shown where it is. After lunch, we have a formal opening in the afternoon in this same room again. If we could keep time, it's starting at 2 promptly. The Minister of Industry and Commerce will be officiating at that ceremony. Our lunch this afternoon today is with the compliments of Tongat Hulet. We appreciate them very much. Can we remember them for feeding us? The sessions, or some of these sessions at this Congress are being sponsored by our platinum sponsor, Lafarge. I want to thank them as well. Thank you very much. What do you say?
Thank you, Mr. Silea. What we want to do now is have short presentations by each of the companies here. So may I now call upon Mr. Paramjit Anand of Akriti Management Consulting to please come up and talk about his company. Thank you.
I would like to say a sincere thanks to the Confederation of Industries of both the countries, India and Zimbabwe, for organizing this meet and inviting all of us for as a delegation, and then exploring the possibilities of certain business associations. So I'm really excited to first listen to the speech of our ambassador, and I think I'm going to what our ambassador stated over here. I think you will see a lot of that you will see in my statement or maybe in our presentation over here. So I am director of the company called Akriti. So Akriti is a group of company. We have few company in India, and I would like to maybe do our presentation part. So what is Akriti? So I may like to give you a brief presentation about Akriti corporate profile. So not moving. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so first I would like to take you through about our group vision and mission statement. So our mission is basically first is basically what we are thinking about Africa market. Our mission is to for the youth development in Africa and to nurture and assist the local mid to large size business from different industry sector for the sustainable growth of the country. So because we say we have a tagline called because you deserve the best, that's why Akriti. And our vision too is basically what we are looking at is our short-term vision, which is we call it the 2020 vision,